You ever watch your whole life collapse while the person who caused it looks you dead in the eye and smiles? That was my wife, Brittany. The same woman I married 12 years ago, the same woman I built a home with, the same woman who, without a shred of hesitation, burned everything we had to the ground. It started in the courtroom. I was standing there in front of a judge, fighting for the right to see my own damn kids, while Brittany stood there beside her lawyer, crocodile tears in her eyes, telling the court I was a liar, a cheater, emotionally abusive. All of it, a complete fabrication. She told them I'd been sleeping around, that I'd snuck out at night, that she had proof. Funny thing? There was no proof. Because none of it ever happened. I didn't cheat. I didn't touch another woman. I didn't even flirt. But none of that mattered. In this world, when a woman cries, people listen. Especially when you're a man like me, Daniel Miller, 41, blue-collar, self-built. You're not the kind of guy they make excuses for. You're the guy they throw under the bus. And God, she knew exactly how to do it. Brittany painted a picture so vivid, so damn perfect, she could have won an Oscar. He disappeared on weekends, she sobbed. I found perfume on his clothes. Lies. All of it. She knew what she was doing. I lost everything that day. My kids, Ethan and Lily. My house. My job. My name. It was like someone took a sledgehammer to my life and just kept swinging. But that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part? She was cheating the whole damn time. While she was in court accusing me, she was sneaking off with a guy named Travis, a greasy, smug, trust fund parasite with a Porsche and a podcast. I found out months later, but we'll get to that. Back then, all I had was pain. The kind of pain that doesn't just sit in your chest, it carves into it. I was sleeping on my buddy Cole's couch, jobless, broke, and too numb to even cry. The whispers started coming through mutual friends. Brittany's been acting different lately. She's been seen out at that new rooftop bar in Midtown, not alone. I brushed it off. I wanted to believe she was just hurting, just trying to move on. But then came the text. From an unknown number. Thought you should know. Your wife's been with Travis for over a year. She used you. You didn't deserve that. Check her IG. Look at the private story highlights. My hands were trembling when I opened Instagram. Brittany had blocked me, of course, but a friend let me see her account. She had one of those fake private highlight albums, only for close friends. There they were. Photos. Videos. Her straddling Travis in a pool in Tulum. Her whispering in his ear at a Halloween party, wearing the same outfit I bought her last year. Her sitting on his lap in a restaurant, giggling like a teenager. And this was while she was telling the judge I was unfaithful. My stomach turned. Everything made sense. Her fake tears. Her sudden hatred. Her obsession with my phone. She wasn't afraid I'd cheat, she was terrified I'd catch her. And yet, I was the one destroyed. No one believed me. Not the courts. Not my own parents. Not even my best friend at first. They all thought, well, she seems sincere, and Daniel's been distant lately. Maybe there's some truth to it. But I stayed silent. I didn't beg. I didn't plead. I just rebuilt. Quietly. One brick at a time. Got a job at a mechanic shop in Jersey. Saved every penny. Rented a crappy apartment. Took parenting classes. Filed appeal after appeal to see my kids. And then, a year later, lightning struck. I bought a lottery ticket at a gas station on a random Tuesday. Didn't think twice. It was the kind you scratch and toss. Until I scratched it. $5 million. It felt like a joke. I reread it 5 times. Called the hotline. Verified it at the store. It was real. I didn't tell a soul. Not a single one. I cashed it in through a trust. Hired a lawyer. Disappeared from social media. Changed my number. I was finally free, or so I thought. Because 1 week later, guess who showed up? Brittany. Hair done. Tight dress. That snake smile I used to find charming before I realized it meant destruction. She didn't say hello. Didn't ask how I was. She said, we need to talk about alimony. And that's when I knew it. It was time to turn the tables. I looked at her, standing there like nothing ever happened. Like she hadn't dragged me through the mud, stolen my kids, my dignity, my name. And now, suddenly, she was sweet-talking again, like we were just 2 grown-ups trying to sort out a misunderstanding. I let her talk. That's the thing about people like Brittany. They love the sound of their own voice. She sat across from me at the coffee shop I used to take her to, wearing a red blazer I remembered buying for our anniversary 5 years back. Probably wore it just to mess with me. She stirred her cappuccino like this was a casual meetup. So, I heard about the lottery, she said, with a smile that made my skin crawl. I guess news travels fast, I replied, calm. She blinked, surprised I wasn't stuttering or fuming. I mean, she leaned in. We were married 12 years. That kind of money. Well, the court might see it as marital property. I didn't even blink. We've been divorced for over a year. She sipped her drink. Still, you wouldn't want this to go to trial. Judges hate mess. I wanted to laugh. After what she did, she was warning me about mess? That moment, sitting across from her, watching her lie with that same smug, snake-like confidence, it was like reliving the courtroom all over again. Except now, I wasn't the one on the floor. She just didn't know it yet. I excused myself from the table, tossed a 20 on the check, and walked out without another word. She called after me, but I didn't turn around. Because I had a plan. And I wasn't going to waste a second explaining it to someone who once tried to bury me. I called my lawyer the next morning, told him everything, and we got to work. See, here's what Brittany didn't know. I had recordings, messages, witnesses, people who saw her with Travis while we were still married. She thought she'd won, thought I'd rolled over and accepted my fate. But I had spent that year quietly collecting receipts. There was a guy named Jeremy who worked security at the hotel she used for her little staycations. He owed me a favor. He handed me footage of her checking in, under her maiden name, with Travis. My friend Sarah, a bartender at that rooftop lounge? She had audio of Brittany bragging about ruining her loser ex-husband while hanging off Travis's lap. I even found an email Brittany forgot to delete from our shared drive, an old draft she never sent to her lawyer, outlining the entire setup. The fake perfume on my clothes. The staged text she sent to herself from a burner number. It was all there. The court date came faster than I expected. She walked in dressed like she was going to brunch, Travis behind her in a blazer 2 sizes too tight. I didn't say a word. Let my lawyer do the talking. He laid it all out. The false accusations. The fabricated evidence. The ongoing affair. The plan to use my kids as leverage. Brittany's face slowly morphed from smug to pale. Travis kept glancing toward the exit like he was thinking about bolting. Then my lawyer dropped the final bomb, a motion to reverse custody, citing malicious parental alienation and fraud. The judge sat back in his chair and exhaled like he just watched an action movie. This, he said, flipping through the pages, is some of the most egregious manipulation I've seen in 20 years. Brittany tried to speak, tried to cry, but this time, no one bought it. Not the judge, not the attorneys, not even Travis. He actually stood up and whispered to his lawyer, "I'm done." Coward left her right there, mid-hearing. The judge ruled in my favor. Full custody of Ethan and Lily, retroactive damages, and a hard no on Brittany's alimony claim. She was ordered to pay me legal fees. I wish I could tell you I felt triumphant, that I smiled when she broke down and begged me in the hallway afterward. But all I felt was empty. She wasn't worth the fight, the pain, or even the victory. What mattered was my kids, my name, my life, finally mine again. Later that night, I sat in my apartment, well, my new house now, the one Brittany would never set foot in, and watched old videos of Ethan's 6th birthday. The one I missed because Brittany said he wasn't feeling well. He looked just fine in that video. I didn't cry. I'd done enough of that. I just sat there, watching, rebuilding inside. Not just because I had my kids back, but because I knew now. I knew who she really was, what she was capable of, and I knew one more thing. This story wasn't over yet. 2 weeks after the court hearing, I was sitting in my new kitchen, pouring cereal for Ethan while Lily braided her doll's hair at the table. The house was quiet, peaceful. It didn't feel real yet, having them here, laughing, calling me Dad, without tension in their voices. For the first time in years, I wasn't walking on eggshells. I wasn't being watched. I wasn't being lied to with every word out of someone's mouth. But Brittany couldn't let go. She started texting me again. First, it was subtle. Ethan forgot his blue hoodie at my place. You want me to drop it off? Then, just wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. I know I messed up. We were both hurting. Let's be civil. Then the mask fell. You think you're some kind of hero? Don't forget, I made you. No one would have looked twice at you if it wasn't for me. That one made me laugh. She didn't make me. She destroyed me. There's a difference. Still, something in me was curious. I'm not proud of it, but I replied, "You need something, Brittany?" Her answer came fast. "I want to talk. One real conversation. No lawyers. Just you and me." The part of me that still had scars said, "Don't do it. Don't give her the satisfaction." But the part that lived through a year of silence, Rage and humiliation wanted to look her in the eye and watch her break. So I agreed. We met in the park. Neutral territory. Middle of the day. Public enough she couldn't pull anything. She showed up dressed like she was going to church, white blouse, that fake soft smile she always used when she needed something. I didn't hug her. Didn't even stand when she sat down. "Thanks for meeting me," she said, brushing her hair behind her ear like it was still 2014. I waited. "I just wanted to say I regret how everything went down." "You regret lying about me cheating? Or stealing my kids? Or trying to take money you had no right to?" She flinched. "I was angry," she said. "I thought you were hiding something. You were always working late, pulling away." "I was working late because we were behind on the mortgage," I snapped. "Because I was covering your spending while you were blowing Travis in a hotel room downtown." She went red. "You don't know what it was like," she hissed. "Being in a marriage where I felt invisible. You never told me I was beautiful anymore. Never took me out. Never made me feel special." I leaned in. "You mean the way Travis made you feel?" "Yeah. I saw the videos." She froze. Swallowed hard. "You had someone filming me?" "No. You had someone filming you. You were too drunk to notice your own friend was recording half those nights and sending them to her boyfriend." "Who sent them to me?" Silence. She looked at her hands like they'd betrayed her. Then she switched gears. "We were supposed to build a life together, Danny. You don't just throw away 12 years. "You did," I said. "The second you stepped into that hotel room, you torched everything. And when you went to court and lied, when you looked our kids in the eye and told them Daddy didn't love them, that's when you buried it." She sniffled. No tears came. "Do you love me at all anymore?" she whispered. And for a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. But then I remembered the empty apartment, the job I lost, the birthdays I missed, the way Ethan looked at me like a stranger, the panic attacks, the sleeping pills, the numb mornings. "No," I said flatly. "I don't love you. I don't even know who you are." She nodded, slow. The performance was ending. She knew the scene was over. But then she said something that made my blood run cold. "You should be careful." I tilted my head. "What's that supposed to mean?" She smiled, stood up, brushed invisible dust off her jeans. "You humiliated me in court, Danny. Publicly. That doesn't just go away. You think Travis was the only one? You think I didn't learn from him?" I stood up too. She stepped back slightly. "You threatening me?" "No," she said. "Just letting you know. I've made friends. And not everyone plays by the rules." And just like that, she walked away. I didn't follow. But that night, I changed the locks, installed cameras, called my lawyer. Because Brittany had stopped being unpredictable. Now she was dangerous. A week passed. No texts. No calls. Just silence. It was worse than noise. Brittany wasn't the type to give up. When she went quiet, it meant she was planning something. She was like a storm you couldn't see, but you could feel in your bones. Then it came. A knock on the door at 7 a.m. Not the police. Child Protective Services. 2 agents. Polite, professional, but cold. "Mr. Miller, we've received an anonymous report that your children are living in an unsafe environment." My stomach dropped. "What the hell are you talking about?" "They asked to come in. I had nothing to hide, so I let them." Ethan was still in bed. Lily was watching cartoons with cereal on her lap. The house was clean. No drugs. No alcohol. No weapons. Nothing that even hinted at danger. But they walked through like they expected to find a meth lab behind the couch cushions. I followed them into the kitchen, trying to stay calm. "Can you tell me what the accusation was?" "Anonymous report stated that you've been drinking excessively around the children, have left them alone overnight, and used physical force." My blood started to boil. That's a damn lie. I haven't had a drink in over 2 years. And I've never laid a hand on my kids. They nodded. Wrote notes. Asked more questions. Left with, "We'll be in touch." I sat on the floor for 15 minutes after they left. Just sat there, head in my hands. I knew exactly who made that call. Brittany. Trying to twist the knife one last time. But this time, I was ready. I sent the footage from my security cam straight to my lawyer, videos showing me cooking dinner, helping Lily with homework, watching movies with Ethan. Date-stamped. Time-stamped. Unedited. I also had letters from the kids' school counselor saying both were adjusting well and visibly happier than before. My lawyer got ahead of it before anything could escalate. But it wasn't just about clearing my name anymore. Now I knew Brittany wasn't just bitter. She was dangerous, calculating, and unhinged. And she wasn't done. 3 nights later, I saw Travis again. At the grocery store, of all places. Wearing sweatpants and aviators like he was dodging paparazzi. He looked worse than last time, scruffy, thin, twitchy. Probably hopped up on something. He saw me in the frozen aisle and froze himself. Then, believe it or not, he walked up to me. "You think you won," he said, his voice low and jittery. "But you don't know Brittany." "I know enough." He gave this broken little chuckle. Shook his head. "She's trying to ruin me too now. Says I owe her money. Says I used her." "You did," I said, "but that's between you two." He stepped closer. "She's not done with you, man. She talks about you more than anyone. She's obsessed. She says she's going to get everything back one way or another." Then he paused, leaned in, and whispered something that made my stomach twist. "She told me she's pregnant. Said it's mine, but I'm not so sure." I stared at him. "You telling me this because you want help, or because you want to drag me into your mess?" "She said if I don't come back to her, she'll tell the court I abused her. She said she already drafted statements. She knows how to make people believe it." There it was again. That weapon she used so well, the lie. False accusations. The oldest play in her book. And now she was trying it on him, too. I walked away. I didn't owe Travis a damn thing. Let him drown in the same poison he helped pour. But I knew I couldn't just wait around anymore. I had to go on offense. So I filed a restraining order. Not just for me, but for the kids. I documented every message, every visit, every veiled threat. My lawyer took it to the judge, and this time, with everything we had already proven, it went through fast. Brittany was legally blocked from contacting me or the kids without court supervision. When she got the news, she went ballistic. Screamed in the courthouse lobby. Had to be escorted out. Said I was stealing her life. No, Brittany. You gave it away. Traded it for a warm lap, a few hotel keys, and a handful of lies. But this time, you weren't getting it back. Not from me. Not from our kids. Not ever. The next month was the first time in years I could actually breathe. Waking up and hearing Lily giggle in the living room while Ethan poured his own cereal. Those were the kinds of mornings I used to dream about when I was sleeping on that ratty couch in Cole's apartment, wondering if I'd ever get my life back. And now, here it was. My house. My peace. My kids. But peace, I've learned, never lasts long when you've got a hurricane in human form just outside the walls. Because Brittany didn't stay quiet for long. She filed an emergency motion. Claimed she was having emotional distress from being separated from the children. That she feared for their mental health in my custody. That I was turning them against her. The same woman who hadn't seen them in over a month, who sent a bogus CPS report, was now crying in front of another judge, trying to rewrite reality. Luckily, the judge wasn't born yesterday. He read the reports. Saw the restraining order. The threats. The timeline. Motion denied. I thought that would be it. The final gasp of a manipulative woman trying to save face. I was wrong. 2 days later, I came home from work and the front door was open. I stood on the porch for 5 full seconds, just staring at it. Ethan and Lily were at their grandma's, thank God. I walked inside slow, every hair on my neck standing. Nothing was stolen. Nothing was broken. But someone had been there. I could feel it. And when I walked into the kitchen, I found it. A photo. Of me and the kids at the zoo. Taken last week. I didn't take it. We were smiling, cotton candy in hand, unaware of anyone watching. On the back of the photo was a note in red ink. Enjoy your time, Danny. It doesn't last. I didn't need a signature to know who it was from. I changed the locks again. Got a motion sensor for the backyard. Bought a bat and kept it next to the bed. And that night, for the first time in months, I didn't sleep. I kept hearing things. Imagining shadows. Listening for footsteps. That woman wasn't just crazy. She was obsessed. The next day, I filed a police report. Showed them the photo. The note. The restraining order. But you know how it goes. Unless she breaks in again or physically harms me, there's not much we can do, sir. So I did what I had to. I put cameras inside the house. Upgraded my alarm system. Even taught Ethan and Lily a safe word in case anyone tried to pick them up from school. I hated living like that, constantly on edge, looking over my shoulder, expecting her to slither out of the dark at any second. But I had no choice. She'd lost the battle in court, and now she was waging war in the shadows. Then, a week later, Travis reached out again. Through a burner number. Need to talk. Urgent. About Brittany. I didn't want to. Didn't care. But something in my gut told me this wasn't about drama anymore. We met at a diner just off the freeway. He looked worse than before. Eyes sunken, shaking hands, like a man who hadn't slept in days. She's spiraling, he said. Said if she can't have the kids, no one will. What the hell does that mean? I asked. She's drinking again. Mixing pills. Said she already wrote something up. A letter. If anything happens to her, it'll make you look guilty. I stared at him. You're telling me she's setting up her own death to frame me? He nodded. She told me she's going to make it look like you pushed her over the edge. That she was the victim the whole time. That it'll be her final truth. Her words. I leaned back, processing the weight of that. She's sick, I muttered. She's actually sick. Travis looked like he was about to cry. I know I helped her hurt you. I didn't know she was capable of this. I believed him. Not because I trusted him, but because the fear in his voice was real. I called my lawyer again. Sent a written statement. Notified the court. Filed for full protective custody. I wasn't going to wait for Brittany to write her final act. I was going to make sure the curtain closed before she could ever step on stage again. The court date for the full protective custody came faster than expected. It wasn't just about restraining orders anymore. This was about permanently severing Brittany's ability to interfere in our lives. I walked into that courtroom more prepared than I'd ever been for anything in my life. My lawyer had built a wall of evidence so high even Brittany's silver tongue couldn't climb it. Witnesses, CPS documentation, security footage, voicemails, screenshots. And now, with Travis's written affidavit, signed and notarized, confirming her threats and behavior, we had her cornered. She showed up late. Sunglasses, black dress, all theatrics, not mourning, staging. She looked around like she was the star of a show that no one came to watch. When the judge read aloud Travis's statement and Brittany realized what he'd done, her mouth dropped open. Her entire performance fell apart like tissue paper in a storm. She stood up, shaking. He's lying. He's a junkie. He's obsessed with me. This is slander. The judge cut her off. Ms. Miller, sit down or I'll hold you in contempt. She sat, quiet for once, breathing hard. I didn't say a word that day. I didn't need to. My silence spoke louder than any defense she could conjure. By the end of the hearing, the judge ruled in my favor. Full custody. No contact. Supervised visitation only, pending psychiatric evaluation. It was over. 12 years of marriage. 3 years of chaos. And now, finally, I could close the door. But of course, Brittany wasn't done. 2 days after the ruling, I got an email from a burner account. No subject. Just one sentence. You took everything. I hope it was worth it. Then an attachment. A video. At first, I didn't open it. Something in me didn't want to give her that satisfaction. But eventually, curiosity won. I clicked. It was footage from inside our old bedroom. From before the divorce. A camera must have been hidden, probably in one of those little alarm clocks she always bought. It showed me sitting on the edge of the bed, crying, whispering to myself, clutching a framed photo of Ethan and Lily. It was one of the lowest nights of my life. And somehow, she'd kept it. Saved it. Waiting for this moment to throw it in my face. There was no point to it. No leverage. Just cruelty. Just a reminder of how broken I'd been, and how much she'd enjoyed watching it. I closed the laptop. And that was when it hit me. She wasn't trying to win anymore. She wasn't even trying to fight. She wanted me to feel what she felt. Weak, alone, humiliated. But I wasn't that man on the screen anymore. I was done playing her games. I blocked the email, filed it as evidence, and went outside where Ethan and Lily were playing catch. Ethan called to me. I tossed the ball back. That's where I lived now in this moment. In their laughter. In this life I rebuilt from ash. Weeks went by. Then one morning, as I was drinking coffee on the porch, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was a hospital. Brittany had overdosed. Pills and vodka. They found her unconscious in her apartment. No suicide note. No will. Just an empty bottle and a history of destruction. She survived. But barely. Travis was the one who called the ambulance. He'd stopped by to return some of her things, heard the noise inside, and kicked the door in. The hospital said she was stable but would need serious psychiatric help. They asked me if I wanted to visit. If I wanted to be listed as emergency contact. If I wanted to notify the kids. I said no. No more second chances. No more guilt. I was done saving someone who only knew how to burn bridges. But I did go outside and sit with Ethan and Lily. Told them their mom was sick and needed help. Told them it wasn't their fault. Told them they were safe. And loved. Because they deserved truth, not the poison Brittany passed off as love. And for the first time in a long time, I believed my own words. I wasn't broken anymore. I wasn't lost. I wasn't afraid. I was free. 3 months passed. Life settled into something that almost resembled normal. Ethan made the soccer team. Lily started piano lessons. I got promoted at work, now managing the shop instead of just wrenching under the hood. Our home was stable, safe, ours. The court still required monthly updates from Brittany's psychiatric facility. She was alive, functioning, on medication, attending therapy, but still not well. Her doctor submitted a request for monitored video visitation with the kids. Just 10 minutes. Supervised. Structured. Ethan didn't want to. Lily hesitated, then shook her head. I didn't push. I just documented their response and told the court no. Their decision mattered more than anyone's. Still, part of me wondered if she'd ever stop. If she'd ever get help, not for my sake, not even for the kids, but for herself. Then something happened I didn't expect. A letter arrived. No return address. Just my name written in shaky pen. I opened it in the garage. Couldn't risk the kids seeing it. Inside was a folded piece of notebook paper, no envelope. The handwriting was messy, uneven. I recognized it instantly. It was Brittany. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even forgive myself. I thought I was punishing you, but I was tearing myself apart. I blamed you for things I created. I let my bitterness rot me. The truth is, I didn't deserve you. Or our kids. I see that now. I hope one day they can hear it from me. Not the way I said it in court. Not in lies. But like this. Quiet. Real. I loved you once. I think. But I hated myself more. I'm sorry. Brittany. I read it twice. 3 times. Then I folded it, placed it back in the envelope, and locked it in my desk drawer. Not because I forgave her. Not because I wanted to preserve it. But because one day, maybe Ethan or Lily would ask questions. And I'd rather have something real to show them, even if it came far too late. Still, I didn't respond. Some things didn't need a reply. The therapist I'd been seeing throughout all this, a quiet, thoughtful guy named Dr. Langston, once told me something that stuck. Closure doesn't come from others. It comes when you stop bleeding from a wound you no longer try to reopen. And he was right. I stopped bleeding the day I chose to stop fighting ghosts. The day I realized Brittany was never going to be the woman I thought I married, and that wasn't my fault. I didn't fail as a husband. I didn't deserve the betrayal. I didn't deserve to be accused of something I never did, to lose my kids, my house, my dignity. But I also didn't deserve to live the rest of my life angry. So I let it go. I rebuilt not for revenge, but for me. One evening, Ethan came into the kitchen holding a school flyer. Dad, they're doing a father-son camping weekend next month. You want to go? He didn't know it, but those words hit deeper than anything Brittany had ever said in 12 years. Yeah, I said, smiling. Yeah, I'd like that. We packed our gear the next morning. Made lists. Built a playlist. Lily helped us choose snacks. It was stupid and beautiful and exactly what life was supposed to be. And as I stood in the doorway that night, watching them brush their teeth and argue over who would get the top bunk during the trip, I realized something. I didn't just survive Brittany. I won. Not the lottery. Not the court case. Not the twisted game she tried to play. But life. I won my life back. And there's not a damn thing she can do to take it again. The camping trip was perfect. Not because everything went smoothly, because it didn't. Ethan forgot the tent poles. I burned the hot dogs. Lily called us 3 times just to ask where her stuffed panda was. But that's what made it real. We laughed through it. Made do. Told ghost stories by a fire that wouldn't stay lit. Ethan fell asleep with his head on my shoulder under a sky so full of stars it made me forget what the word broken even meant. That night, I lay awake in my sleeping bag, staring up through the mesh of the tent, listening to the wind move through the trees. I thought about everything that had happened. Every lie. Every courtroom. Every time Brittany tried to twist the truth until it snapped. Every second I'd spent questioning myself, asking how the hell I ended up here. And then I realized I wasn't there anymore. I was here. With my son beside me, my daughter safe at home, and a future wide open for once. Brittany still existed somewhere out there. Her chaos would keep moving, finding new places to infest. But I was done being her battleground. I was done giving her rent-free space in my head. I'd already paid too much. So here's what I learned, what I'd tell any man out there living the nightmare I did. They will try to destroy you. They'll lie, twist, manipulate, cry in courtrooms and smile while they take everything. And when they realize you survived, they'll come for what's left. Let them. Let them take the lies. Let them keep the fake stories. Let them have the broken pieces they tried to throw at your feet. Because what they'll never understand is that the moment you choose peace over revenge, the moment you let go of proving yourself, the moment you stop chasing justice from the unjust, you win. Not loud, not with fireworks, but quietly, fully, and forever. So if you're reading this, some guy with his back against the wall, losing sleep, being painted as the villain in someone else's script, listen to me. Keep going. Keep rebuilding. Stay silent when they expect you to scream. Stack your bricks. Protect your soul. And when they try to come back, because they always do, don't answer. You're not theirs anymore. You're you again. And nothing in this world is more powerful than a man who remembers who the hell he is.